Can you live without the news? Can you live without the day-to-day chatter about things happening, about the stuff that comes down from television and newspaper headlines? 2 years ago, I started an experiment. I cut myself off completely from the news. I threw my TV out the window, I canceled my newspapers, I deleted the news apps from my phone, and I reset my browser start page from Google News to Amazon. The first 30 days were hard, really hard. Standing in line, waiting, and not checking the news on the phone, instead pulling out a book. I forced myself not to pick up newspapers laying around airports, to not even glance at the headlines if the guy in front of me opened up his paper. But after about a month, something strange happened. I arrived in a new land. It felt so solid, so real, so peaceful. And it still does today. I'm happy to report I now have more time, I think deeper, I have more insights. Cutting out the news was one of the best decisions of my life, and I will never go back. See, news is to the brain what sugar is to the body. You can swallow limitless quantities of news flashes, tidbits like jelly beans, but these jelly beans don't nourish you. They don't give you understanding. As a matter of fact, they're quite toxic to your brain. News events are just things happening, flickering on the world's surface. But to make better decisions, you want to understand what drives these events, what generates these events. And news stories don't tell you that. News give you the illusion of understanding, and that illusion is dangerous. I came to realize the more news you consume, the less you understand the world. My website lists 15 reasons why you should give up the news. Let me give you just 4. Number 1, the brain interprets the sensational as being much more frequent than it actually occurs. And it disregards the silent risks that are not fit for the headlines. The result, you constantly walk around with the wrong risk map in your head. Number 2, news are mostly irrelevant. An average person consumes between 10,000 and 20,000 news stories a year. Let me ask you, from the thousands of news stories you have seen this year, tell me one, just one, that has allowed you to make better decisions for your private life or business life compared to not knowing it. Be truthful. Most people have a difficult time coming up with a single example. Now people push me and they say, but you have to know if there's a catastrophe somewhere on the planet. Really? Do I? There's probably bad things happening on other planets, and I'm quite okay not knowing about them. I'm not callous. I'm just rational, just setting priorities. Number 3, news is toxic to your health. News stories constantly triggers the limbic system. Panicky stories release glucocorticoids, stress hormones that put your body in a state of chronic tension and alert. The result, your body stops growing, doesn't repair itself, and becomes susceptible to infection. You will be physically healthier if you stay away from the perpetual drama of the news. Number 4, news wastes time. If you consume news for 15 minutes each morning and 15 minutes in the afternoon and watch news on television for 30 minutes before bed, you waste productive hours, totaling a workday a week. A day for what? If news gave you a competitive advantage, journalists would be the richest people on the planet. They are not. Quite to the contrary. Today I realize to have a real competitive advantage, you better stay out from the news stream. So what should you do? Go cold turkey, make news inaccessible, read long, solid magazine articles that give you perspective, read books that explain the world's complexities. Try reading a book a week, better 2 or 3. History is good, biology, psychology. Have fun reading and talk to people who really know. And I guarantee you, if something truly important happens, you will hear about it in time from your friends. And don't be shy about discussing your news diet. People will be fascinated. My advice to you, go deep instead of broad in your search for knowledge. You will be more healthy, more wealthy, and more wise. Thank you.
Want to gain weight? Jeopardize a relationship? How about shortening life expectancy? and keep on watching TV. I haven't done it for 45 years, and I'm glad. Some people call television the idiot box. With all due respect, I would call it the idiot's box. I say that because of what I experienced in my viewing days, and because of what research has shown about the 99% of the consumer world that owns a TV, and about 2/3 of whom have more than 3 sets per home. TV watching is addictive. Attachment to watching can be as strong as addiction to drugs or gambling. That's why the average watching time is 5 hours per day, which means that youth spend 30% more time viewing than they do in school. Now listen to this. 2/3 of families watch TV during meals, and over half of 4 to 6-year-olds prefer TV with being with their parents. TV's a drug, and that drug alters behavior. The 150,000 violent acts seen by the age of 18 makes viewers more aggressive. It insensitizes them to violence, and TV lowers our attention span. It robs your sleep time, alters your dreams, and makes you a couch potato by exercising less, hence you gain weight. And what about the mere 16,000 yearly commercials? They certainly have something to do with mindless consumerism, overdrawn bank balances. Add to that the increased risk of depression, dumbing down on the brain, and our susceptibility to blindly accepting as truth the information TV spews out. Result is, TV is the new gospel, the new God. Researchers suggest moving the TV out of the bedroom. My humble suggestion is you move it or them out of the house. There's a wonderful world of creative freedom beyond the TV screen. Reading, writing, giving quality time to loved ones, and most important of all, this very novel idea, thinking, that uniquely human trait that TV robs you of. Put time into deeply contemplating who you are and what the purpose of life is. And when you consider these issues important, invest time in finding answers to them.